And then it's moving up, the cyclone is moving up the east coast and getting deeper and deeper, 996 millibars, 966 millibars, whatever. It's a nice example of a nor'easter. They tend to start near New Orleans and kind of track up the east coast of the United States like this. Crazy amounts of storm. Hurricane force winds, 4 feet and more of snow across much of the eastern United States. This was truly a biblically large storm. They have not seen anything like this since. They certainly hadn't seen anything like this for maybe 100 years before. A really big storm. Here's that same storm on satellite picture. It's got a comma cloud. See, here's the cold front with its narrow band of clouds. Here's the actual low pressure itself with the clouds that are around the low pressure just through the convergence on the low. And the warm front's over here someplace with a big wide band of clouds out in front of it. I want to draw your attention, though, to something about that cold front. Holy crap, it's like in Panama or something. This cold front brought cold air all the way down. I mean, they don't get a lot of cold fronts coming through Cuba. They don't get a lot of cold fronts coming through Central America. Okay? This cold front pushed, that huge cyclone was able to drag air masses from Canada all the way down across the Gulf of Mexico, all the way across down into the Caribbean, and eventually it crossed the equator. Now, if you know anything about Central America, you know that there's like a ridge of mountains here. Central America is, for all intents and purposes, a wall. It does a really good job of separating weather on the Atlantic side from weather on the Pacific side. And you can see how the air is sort of, as that cold air spills from the north, it's sort of running up those mountains, kind of like the mountain problem. It's being forced to rise as it goes up over those mountains. You can see all the condensation that's happening, all these clouds. So the spine of the mountains is right here. But there's one pass in the mountains that goes right through here. It's called Chavela Pass. And it's a low pass that goes, there's like a little gap in the mountains. The pressure behind the cyclone was so big, and there was so much air coming down from Canada, that air started whistling through that pass. That pass is only about 20 miles wide. It was whistling through here and squirting out, if you will, out into the Pacific. Okay, so you can picture this here? There's this huge storm on the Atlantic side, but the wall of these mountains of the Sierra Madre in Central America were separating that from the Pacific, except for this one little gap, and the air was just squirting through there at high speeds. That air came through there at like 70 miles per hour, picked up sand at the beach, and sandblasted ships out at sea. This was a huge storm. This is actually really interesting too, because this is a big fishing area. This is like a tuna fishing area over here. And the water at the surface is really warm, and that's not good for the fish. They actually prefer cooler water. When the winds came whistling through this pass over here, they mixed they made huge waves that mixed cold water from down deep, and the algae and the phytoplankton and stuff in the ocean blossomed. You could actually see the algae from space. Like there are satellite pictures and like space shuttle pictures of how in the aftermath of the storm, the water was just green with all the bioproductivity, and then the fishing was really good, and then the tuna fishing in like months to come was really good, and so on. This was a huge storm. We've never seen anything like this storm. Cool to have been there. Anyway. All right, let's put the lights back on. All right. Let's talk, we've kind of been talking about the test the whole time. But let's talk a little bit about the test and then where things go after the test. The test itself, as I've said, doesn't look different than the other tests. It has a few maps, it has a few pictures that have arrows on them, etc. But by and large, it looks like anything else. It's how you study and prepare for it that's different. It has about the same number of questions as usual. I think that I didn't write down how many ended up on the final version, something like 75, with maybe about 15 of those being true-false. Other than that, though, I think it's pretty much what you're expecting. I've had a lot of emails that I have been deliberately ignoring as to whether or not we're going to do a retest after it. The way we did from after that last test. I have very, very mixed feelings. Okay, there's no doubt about it. People did way better when we did the retest. On the other hand, you ended up studying for 2 tests. Ain't there enough damn tests in this course already? Right? I'm leaning towards saying, assume there won't be a retest, and if we need it, I'll be glad to do it. Okay? So if it turns out that the course grades are low, I could pull another set of 75 questions or whatever, and we can do another test. It's not the end of the world, but I don't think you guys really want to get in the cycle of always having to do a damn retest, right? I mean, my guess is studying once for tests is painful enough. So let's work on the assumption that you'll do study well enough and we don't need one. But if we do need one, we can do it, okay? Is that opaque enough of an answer? It's pretty opaque. Okay. In other words, if it goes badly, we'll probably do a retest, but I'm not really anticipating that. From here on out, things get better. Because the course gets more and more about the kinds of things you thought it was going to be about. We're going to do tornadoes, and hurricanes, and hail, and lightning, and El Nino in the next unit. And then after the fourth unit is all about severe weather, and then the fifth unit of the course is all about other crap. Okay, it doesn't really have an overriding topic. Strangely, we do winter weather, like blizzards and snowstorms and all that kind of stuff, which doesn't make a lot of sense in the spring because it's like April when we get to that stuff, but in the fall semester it makes a lot of sense because it's early December. We do a lot of things about environmental science in the fifth unit. A lot of people like that kind of stuff. Things like global warming and acid rain and pollution. I can't remember what else is there. We have a list of about 10 different topics we can do in that last unit, and we picked like 4 or 5 of them. And so I can't remember what the other ones are this semester. But anyway, but they tend to be more popular. Oh, climate's one. Most people don't like climate, but tough luck. Anyway, so the point is, most people get more comfortable with the course from here on out. And for that matter, I think most people's grades on the remaining 2 tests tend to do better. I don't want to tell you that means the other tests are easier. I think it's just that we all tend to get more on the same page. Okay? But the point is, don't lose faith. On the other hand, this sounds bad, but it's true. You know, the date to drop the course is coming. I mean, that's part of how we picked the date that this test happened. Okay, because by the time you get to the 3rd test, you've now got like 60% of your grade in the course. You know how you're doing. Okay? So if you are unhappy with how things are going, the drop date is coming. It's like the day after the test or 2 days after the test or something. If you want the exact date, it's on your syllabus. Okay? Sometimes there are people for whom dropping is the right choice. Okay? Don't drop like just sort of stop coming or whatever. I mean, come talk to me. We can see. Sometimes your grades are actually better than you think they are. Okay? Because like you don't really know how to figure out your extra credit and stuff like that. Okay? So don't just like stop coming and drop. Come see me first. But sometimes for people that is the right choice. Hey, I thought I could take 18 hours and I just can't. Or I didn't realize this class was going to be this much work. Or this project I'm doing in another class is going to be this much work. But don't drop without telling me or whatever, okay? And don't drop. It'll be better. Okay. All right. I think that we'll just take it a little bit early of an exit today. And we will take the test on Tuesday. Don't forget there's a review session on Monday at 5 if you want to come. Typically about an hour. Thanks.
And after the review session, do another one of our successful brand sessions. Where we go everywhere, find out all the